Guys, just wanted to check in with you and post video number 1. This will be called Mr. Duda's geometry class, video number 1. It'll be posted on YouTube. I want you to use this video in order to complete pages 3 and 4 in your relationships with triangles math packet that I'm staring at right now. Okay, so page 3 talks about the mid segment of a triangle. We'll discuss that, and then page 4 talks about some problem solving and constructing some algebraic equations in order to find the values of x and the lengths of a given side. Okay, so let's just talk about this concept of mid segment of a triangle. And I'll abbreviate for triangle. Okay, so in essence, what happens if let's take any old triangle, okay, and if this point is the midpoint of this side, okay, meaning it splits this side in half. And let's assume that this point is the midpoint or mid-segment, same thing, of that side, and this point is the midpoint of this side, okay? Now what happens is if I were to connect all 3 of these points, okay, each one of these are called mid-segments, okay? Mid-segments. And a couple different relationships exist because of the construction of these 3 mid-segments, okay? So what happens is if we label this big triangle ABC, all right, and let's label all of our midpoints as X, Y, and Z. All right. Now, what happens here? A couple different things happen. This mid-segment XY would be parallel to this larger segment AC. Okay, that's one relationship that exists. Let's talk about the next mid-segment. How about YZ? So mid-segment YZ would be parallel to the segment opposite of that, which is AB. Okay, and the third relationship that exists would be mid-segment XZ would be parallel to the larger segment BC. Okay, so there's a parallel relationship between the mid-segments within a triangle and the side opposite that mid-segment. Okay, now, so that's one type of relationship. Okay, now what else exists is that if you notice, all of the mid-segments are half of the segment opposite of it. Okay, in length. So, for example, if I gave this length YZ a length of 3, the segment opposite, or the segment parallel to that mid-segment, would have a distance, so this entire segment AB would have a distance of 6. Okay, a distance of 6. So YZ is half of AB. Let's write that down. So YZ, okay, equals 1/2, okay, of segment AB, okay, 1/2 of AB, and we can keep doing that with the other relationships. So if this, let's say that XZ was, I'm just making these lengths up, was 5, then that would mean that BC would be 10, and if say XY was, again, let's say it's 7, so AC would be 14. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So that's the concept of a mid segment. And you'll see those example problems on page 3. Okay, on page 3. All right, let's talk about page 4, and let's run through an example. I'll do number 9 for you, so you can see how algebra is kind of connected to geometry in terms of finding the value of x. Okay, so let's talk about number 9 in the homework. Okay, so number 9. All right, if you follow through, so it looks like in number 9 they give you a triangle. I'll try to draw it as best I possibly can. So it looks something like that. And it talked about, well, let's erase this a little bit more. So it said that this length over here, which is WY, was x plus 9, and in this that corner, that vertex was x, and then we had a midpoint Q, and we had a midpoint R, okay, connected by this mid-segment, okay, and that length was 2x minus 3. Okay, so they gave you some tick marks. So if this was the midpoint, if they show you these tick marks, then that means that Q is the midpoint of YX, and I believe they gave you 2 tick marks. Yep, these 2 tick marks would represent that R is indeed the midpoint of WX. So these 2 segments are equal. All right, so if that's the case, so if these 2 midpoints are connected, which forms a midsection, then that means that this length is half of this length. Okay, this length is half of this length. So let's make up you can make up a couple different equations. I like to work in whole numbers rather than fractions, and I know you guys do too as well. Okay, so if we took this segment, so we know that if we took this segment and we doubled it, it would give us this segment, because this segment is 2 times this one. All right, does that make sense? This segment is twice this one. So if we come up with an equation, so if we say 2 times the smaller segment, that should equal our larger segment, x plus 9. Okay, so the larger segment is twice the smaller segment. So if we continue and distribute 2 times 2x and 2 times negative 3, we get x plus 9. If we subtract x from both sides, we get 3x here. If we add 6 to 9, we get 15. So in this case, x would equal 5. Okay, and I believe that's all they asked for in number 9. Okay, you could also come up with a different equation. If you didn't like this equation, okay, you could, I'll put the word or, so instead of 2 times the smaller one, we can say that the smaller segment, okay, is 1/2 of the larger segment, x plus 9. Okay, let me write that a little bit better over here. Okay. All right, x plus 9. That's just another way to come up with the exact same answer. So if you would get rid of this 2, you would multiply both sides by 2. That would eliminate that 2. If I multiply this whole side by 2, now I'm back to 4x minus 6 equals x plus 9. You're going to get the same exact answer both ways. I like this method here because I'm dealing with a whole number rather than a fraction, and that's just me. Okay, so that's number 9. Now the only difference between numbers 9 to 12 in your packet is all you're doing in 9 to 12 is finding the values of x. That's it. In numbers 13 to 16, not only are you finding the values of x, but then they're asking you for an actual length, an indicated length. So you're going to have to substitute that value of x back into whatever side you're asked to find and whose expression is given. Okay, that's it. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email. Again, you're going to find this video on YouTube. It'll be called Mr. Duda's Geometry Class Video Number 1. All I want you to do is to watch the video during for today's class assignment. It'll be posted at the beginning of the class. The homework assignment, however, will be due by 2 o'clock today. And that's it. All you have to do is just send me a picture, 2 pictures of both completed pages via email. Okay, that's all you have to do. I'm also thinking about, in terms of Friday, what Friday's going to look like. I'm not quite sure we're going to have a test yet. I certainly want to reach out to you guys, either in the form of another video to talk about kind of a review. I'm also thinking about possibly putting together a Zoom conference with whomever wants to join, to just talk about some example problems, things you should be concerned about moving into our next test, which I'm not quite sure it's going to be Friday yet. I may post it Friday, and it might be due on Monday, so I may give you the whole weekend to kind of do that. And with this virtual reality classroom, that's one of the luxuries that we have, is there's really no time frame. So I might do that and actually have it due on Monday. Okay, but I'm still trying to work through that whole process. Okay, so I hope this video helped. Please feel free to reach out. If not, good luck on today's class assignment.